Welcome back in. It's another edition of Inside the Tornado presented by Walk-Ons. I'm your host, Chris Mangrum, and joining us today is our Assistant AD for Compliance, Bart Walker. Bart, thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you, Chris. Glad to be here.
So, we're here today to talk about name, image, and likeness, often referred to as NIL. It's become one of, if not the biggest topic around college athletics. For those that may be unfamiliar, tell us what NIL is.
NIL is basically a shortening, it's an acronym for name, image, and likeness. And it's the idea that a student athlete can sell their name, their image, likeness, in terms of like a meme or a caricature, to a business to be used in their promotions of their business. It's typically you see it on commercials where a well-known football player, basketball player, coming to mind is like Steph Curry, the NBA, and he is a spokesperson for Subway. Mm-hmm. And that's an NIL deal if he was at the college level. Okay.
So you've worked in NIL now for a couple of years. What would you say are some of the common misconceptions that the public thinks about NIL that may not be exactly the way it works?
I think the most general misconception is that it's pay for the student athletes to play their sport. Mm-hmm. It is not meant to be money for playing for the University of Tennessee or the University of Alabama. It's supposed to be money paid for promoting a business.
Okay. When discussing NIL, a lot of people focus on the Division I level. So what are some of the differences that you've seen in that Division I talk versus how it actually works at the Division II level?
Well, the Division I level, there's just a gulf there in terms of the money. You can see it in terms of the size of their stadiums versus our size of our stadiums, how they travel. So they have somewhat maxed out what the university can provide them. Whereas at our level, our alumni and boosters can just give directly to the university, and it will still have an impact upon our student athletes in terms of what we can do for them. Better ways of traveling, more better food, better restaurants on the road, better equipment, maybe even stadiums, or a facility like for a swim team. Maybe they'd have their actually own pool. Okay. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions. Is in terms of the money, and I think the other one is that they see it in terms of not having to do work, that it's given to them for their sport and not for work.
Well, even though there is a bit of a gulf, as you mentioned, between Division I and Division II, athletes here at King and throughout Division II still have opportunities to participate in NIL, and King just recently partnered with an organization called MOGL. What can you tell us about that partnership and how that works for our student athletes?
Our student athletes need to realize that when it comes to name, image, and likeness, their best opportunities probably through their social media. And they need to develop, I'm hoping I'm using the business term correctly, a brand. Liv Dunn did it with her gymnastics and doing routines. Now, she actually has some natural beauty that helps as well. The two basketball twins, they did a lot of basketball routines in terms of how they dribbled together, and they created followers.
Yes.
They had an abnormally large group of followers who were wanting to be a part of them. Well, for a business, they can tap into those followers. Hey, I want an endorsement from you ladies to talk about my company. And that is what our student athletes can look at, is building a brand through their social media so that businesses will want to contract with them, and they can use that then to make some money. MOGL is an organization that we have partnered with. What they do is they work with both businesses and student athletes. They try to solicit businesses to work with them in terms of posting jobs. And then our student athletes can go online and see those job listings and apply for them. And hopefully that gets them some initial experience with doing some of the social media opportunities.
Sure. So our current student athletes and prospective student athletes, there are opportunities for NIL, and this is the guy you need to talk to make sure everything is right in line with compliance. So again, with MOGL, King can connect the entire Tornado network to their student athletes while exposing them to thousands of other exciting NIL deals. Bart, thanks for taking some time for us today, a chat about NIL. This has been Inside the Tornado, presented by Walk-Ons. We'll see you next time.